Turn my phone off. Morning, everyone. We'll get started with the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God, thank you for the opportunity to come together again in the midst of the county. Pray you give the commissioner guidance as they make decisions that affect all of the citizens of the county. We ask you to watch over our employees, protect them as they serve the citizens of the county. Pray blessings again.
Read the minutes. I make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
We have River City's payment number 20 that's included in today's bills. So the amount of the payment just to River City is $493,618.93. So we've been doing a motion to approve that, and then we'll do the bills right after that, if you guys are ready for it.
If anybody, if you want to see the breakdown on River City, but I don't know if I showed it to you last week or not.
I think it just came in after the meeting last week. I did go through and look at what's left, including the retainage. After this, there's roughly 1.6 million left.
Where are we at with the payments from Goldberg?
They made about 2/3 of it.
Yeah, we've got a couple of payments in from them.
The last one probably will come into the very end.
Have you had anything from Bill? Heard anything? I mean, he didn't show up last week and then this week. Was he there?
He said he didn't go last week.
Yeah. What about, yeah. We're getting closer. Yeah. Okay. And the furniture?
They're still fine tuning the electronics, you know,
Mhm.
a lot of technology. Courtroom, good, I've been in there since they finished.
Mm-mm.
Really take a check.
Good.
I'll see you.
So according to the schedule values, we're 97.77% done.
Yeah, of that 1.6 that's left after this, about 1 million of that is the retainage. So we just probably.
How long will we keep that?
I don't remember what the contract had on that. Do you, Gary? Or I have to look back and.
I'm thinking it's just a year, but I'm not sure.
So Gary, I had a question on the concrete masonry weather allowance. They have that figured into their total. We don't use all that. Do we get that back?
Yeah, any of those allowances do use it.
Well, I think that's the only one we have.
Now, it's interesting that you mentioned that particular one because, they had to drill the, bases for these, these light poles in the parking lots. And they hit more rock than was expected. It cost about an extra $2,000, and that they're to take it out of that than a particular contingency. But, they, had a subcontract out there.
How far down was the rock? Did they hit? Was it very deep?
They hit it pretty shallow, much more shallow than they had expected. And they actually had to drill deeper than they expected. Apparently the engineering plans showed the hole for this thing, but weren't clear about the depth of the hole. So I don't know all the details of that, but it cost about $2,000 to fix it.
So while they're doing that, I'll just read the sheriff's report. 18 prisoners are in, 15 are in here, and 3 are farmed out. There was 10 releases the past week, 200 911 calls for service 579, livestock out 6. Just year to date was, the rest of them was cases closed 13, vehicle crashes 7, bailiff activities 53, and SRO activities 159.
So are we doing this? So are we approving the bills and then doing this separate?
It's included in the bills. What you've been doing in past months is approve this as a separate item and then approve the bills that include it.
I'll make a motion we approve pay application number 20 for the Justice Center for the amount of $493,618.93.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, and all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and then I have the bills that includes that.
Make a motion, we approve the bill, pay the bills in the amount of $812,795.82.
And that's with the payment in it, right?
Yeah.
I'll second it. Been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
And I have 2 change orders. They're both ads this time.
Let's see. Change orders, let's see, 2021-159, 2021-160. For the amount of, what, you have a total?
I didn't total it up. There's
Tax is 9844 and 27208.
so about 370 added all together.
Okay, that's my motion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Just to be clear, those are not construction change orders. Those are adds and abates on taxes.
Anything else, David?
The only other thing I had was I do have the signed agreements from all 3 school districts. Whenever, I don't know if you wanted to talk about that before you signed them or for the SRO program. If you're ready for them, I've got all 3 of them here and
Do we need to do anything besides sign?
You just need to, have a vote to enter into that agreement, and those agreements signed, and again, just to summarize the detail a little bit, each district is contributing $12,000 per
SRO.
SRO officer. So Pleasant is contributing 12, Jayhawk contributing 24, and Prairie View is contributing 36. The agreement is that the money that they're contributing is for the 22-23 school year, it's the upcoming school year. And they, because of the way the budgets fall, because they're, right, this year they're operating on a budget they approved last summer, set it up so the payment is not due until January.
Right.
It also is a 5-year agreement, but it can be ended with appropriate notice by either party prior.
Okay. So they're contributing now, which is good.
Are we doing anything to, I mean, are we gonna have any meetings with them to,
Well, that, the agreement says that, there'll be, I can't remember the exact password, but that there'll be details worked out between the sheriff and them about operations and control and, so forth. So
How will we find that out? What's going on?
we'll have to just, rely either upon the sheriff to report to us about, any changes in their SR, in their, standard operating procedures, or, on the school districts to report to us. I can be in touch with the sheriff periodically if you'd like to see, what's going on in that regard.
Well, I kind of feel that we should have something, shouldn't we?
I think,
Some way before we go to sign into this. What has changed, I guess, is what I'm asking. How are we gonna know this happens?
But it's really not ours. It's not, we have nothing to do with it.
Okay.
I mean, we don't. If he decides that what they've got is fine, the sheriff and the school district, we really have no say in it because the operation is up to the sheriff and it's his responsibility to provide guidance and the school districts to provide guidance to the sheriffs on this agreement. That's the whole thing. If he didn't want to do it, he wouldn't do it. I don't know what he says. He will talk to him about it, but
no, I agree, but just like I said last week, the transparency in this county is, non-existent. And that's what I would like, that's what I want to change about that. The city's coming in, anybody coming in asking for money from the county, I'd just like to figure out a way to let everybody know what the taxes money is being spent on.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what to tell you on that, but other than we finally got an agreement with all 3 school districts. That was the chore in itself, the one school district. So we got that. It's here, and you got to have faith in your sheriff and the 3 school superintendents if they want to improve the program. But I don't. It's not the commissioner's responsibility to. You have no say in it.
During budget season, is there something we can do to make people come in here and tell us, besides once a year, come in here and ask us for 80 grand, never see them again, don't know what the money's being spent on?
Just tell them you want them.
I said, is there a way to try to get, during budget season, to get all these people that come in here and ask the county for money, require them to come back throughout the quarter or whatever and, relay back to us what's going on in the county, what the money's being spent on, how things are going.
They just tell them when they come in that you want them back again.
Most of the, I don't know what groups you're talking. Are you talking about like the Regional Planning Commission?
Judicial, whatever, we give money to a lot, like Trico and some of those, that what you're talking about?
Most of those, I think, if you told them you'd like to come back at a 6-month point in the year and report on what's going on, they'd probably be glad to do it.
And they probably just email you a quarterly update if you ask them to.
I'd
Email
like
it
to
to
just see them in here more than one time a year, that's all. And tell over the camera how things are going and what the community's money's being spent on. I don't know if there's a way, when you talk to them all, can we kind of push that home with them?
I can bring it up.
Well, they'll be in
here
between
to ask
now
for
and
money.
the middle of June. They're going to be in here with their annual request.
Yeah.
And that'd be the time for you to say, get a commitment from them. If you want them in, at a later time in the year, that'd be the time to get the commitment from them. You know, and if you want them to come once, you know, once halfway through the year, and then, as like Rick said, send a quarterly report every quarter or something like that. I mean, you can spend a lot of time. If you had everybody in every quarter, you'd use up a lot of your time and a lot of their time. But maybe if you had them in once and then had them send written reports or something. But that'd be the time to do it, when they come in for their budget request.
I'll make a motion that we enter into the agreements with the SRO with the schools for, as stated.
It's as stated, which is 5 years,
It's a 5-year agreement
$12,000 per SRO or per school
per year.
per year. I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded, and all in favor?
Aye.
Three.
Hey,
I think we just put the chairman on it.
you want to change the page or you want to leave it like that? Because you got the wrong chairman.
He can cross out the name.
Cross me out.
Looked at that part. I didn't prepare.
Was that long ago when we started this?
Yeah. It was a different chairman when I drafted it.
Well, they're not all the same.
Yeah, one of them, one of them was signed earlier than the others. The others I revised and sent back out, I think.
What do we want to do?
Just cross out where it's wrong and put in.
Gary, do you want a signed copy of that for your records?
I should have it, yeah.
I'll scan them in. We just
Excellent.
send you a scan of them. And I'll send the copy back to the schools.
Good.
Is that it?
That's all I've got.
AMR?
Good morning, Galen Anderson, Ops Manager with AMR. I'm going to pass out, I'm not going to pass out, I'm going to hand out April's monthly report and review the data. All right, the ambulance data for the month of April is as follows. I'll go down by city. Blue Mound had 3 requests, 0 transports. Centerville had 3 requests, 1 transport. Lacine had 20 requests for ambulance service and 11 transports. Linn Valley had 12 requests and 5 transports. Mound City had 17 requests and 11 transports. Parker had 16 requests and 11 transports. Pleasanton had 30 requests and 18 transports. Prescott had 1 request, 0 transports. And all total, there was 103 requests for ambulance service, 57 transports. And then response times by district. District 1 had 36 requests and 19 transports, and their average response time for District 1 was 11 minutes and 23 seconds. District 2 had 35 requests and 21 transports, and their average response time was 10 minutes, 15 seconds. District 3 had 31 requests and 17 transports, and the average response time for District 3 was 17 minutes, 14 seconds. And all told, the average response time for the county for the month of April was 12 minutes and 47 seconds. And just to give you a brief explanation again on the response time calculations for District 3, the first paramedic on scene in District 3 is the operations supervisor. So he's assigned a response time for any incident he goes to. And then since he's in a quick response vehicle, the SUV, One ambulance from either Lacine or Pleasanton also responds to that incident and to provide transportation if the patient needs to be transported to a hospital. And that responding ambulance is also assigned a response time, which is longer because they're coming from out of district. And so those response times are both added in and calculated together. So if the paramedic supervisor got there in 10 minutes and the ambulance got there in 20 minutes, that would reflect the average response time of 15 minutes, just so you understand kind of the nuance behind that data. And then we were scheduled to have 1,440 in-service unit hours, and we were right on the money, so we were staffed 100%. And then in the month of April, there were just 2 patients flown out by helicopter, one for severe respiratory distress and then one for a suspected heart attack. And that's what I got for April. Any questions on that?
Nope.
I don't have, Danny.
So far for the month of May, in the past 7 days, it's gotten quite a bit busier. We've had 19 transports in the last 7 days. And for the month to date, we're at 27 transports. And then we're still working with City of Pleasanton to get ready for that Thunder on the Streets motorcycle rally, that one-day event. We'll have an extra ambulance and service dedicated to the city that they'll be paying to have on site there. And then this week is National EMS Week, so we're doing a lot to celebrate our crews, giving them some gifts and providing some meals and things of that nature. So if you see an ambulance crew, buy them a coffee or something like that.
Ha!
It was Nurses Week last week, yeah. So that's all I have. Anything for me?
No, I don't. Thanks.
Thank you,
All
Galen.
right. Have a good week.
You too. Doug?
Good morning, Commissioners. Doug Bartlett, Fire and Emergency Management. Weekly report, I dropped it off on your desk before the meeting. 9 calls for the week, 224 calls year to date. Weather, there is a slight risk tomorrow night for severe weather. Primary threats right now are shown to be damaging wind and hail around quarter size. INSCO is working this morning at Parker. They've started doing the painting for the Parker Fire Station. Hopefully, weather permitting, they will get that done this week and move to Blue Mound, and hopefully by the end of next week, get it finished out to where that project is complete. You will need to appoint someone to the Northeast Region Homeland Security Council. I have served on that for a little over 15 years. It can be a commissioner. It can be our new fire chief emergency manager, the sheriff. It can be about anybody you want, but Linn County has one position on that board or that commission.
Where do they meet at?
Meet in Topeka once a month, typically. It's the 4th Wednesday of the month, and it's always in Topeka. So I don't know if you want to think about it. If you
No,
want to,
introduce him real quick
I was going to do that here in a bit.
because I want to ask him a question
This
anyway.
is Chief Randy Hegwald. He's our new fire chief and emergency manager.
Hello, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, so on this, have you ever sat on that board before? Do you know anything about it? Familiar with it at all?
I have not sat on that board.
Okay. Would you be interested in that?
I would do it.
Okay. And real briefly, Doug, go ahead. Thanks, Randy. What's this board about? What's it do?
This board was created when, after 9/11, the federal government came out with funds that they put into the states for Homeland Security and beefing up Homeland Security nationwide. Kansas initially distributed the money to the counties and just gave the county, this is your amount of the Homeland Security funds. Here's the types of projects you can spend it on. Linn County got the Polaris Rangers that are in our fire stations through that money and did a few other projects with it. Other counties did different things. The Highway Patrol was responsible for that. After a period of time, they decided that some of the counties weren't using the money to really support what they felt it should be used for. So they created 7 regional councils. We're in the northeast region of Kansas, and that region is given a certain amount of money based on its population. And now the council decides what projects to do, such as our Everbridge call notification system. The region provides that to our county for free. And of course, we use it to alert folks. It's a opt-in program. So if you're interested in it, you would have to sign up for it. You can get weather alerts from it. You can get information from the county from it, i.e. if the dispatch center goes down, we can send a message out to everybody in the county that signed up for it and say, hey, dispatch is down. Dial this phone number to get assistance if you need something.
How many people do we have in the county signed up for it?
I think we're between 2,000 and 3,000 signed up in the
Really?
county right now. So, it has that program, the stop movement trailer we have, the message board, signboard that we have that currently is deployed there in Pleasanton advertising for positions. The light tower, currently it's hooked up to our building to provide generation until we get that situation resolved. So a lot of equipment they've given us, radios, there's tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment that the region is stationed here in Linn County. We've got equipment stationed all over the region. And then, of course, the regions share their equipment with other regions. Here several years ago, there was a tornado down in Eureka, I believe it was, and we took our light tower down there at the state's request. We've taken our stop movement trailer up to Donovan County during some flooding years ago. So it's just equipment that can be moved around to meet any need. Several times we brought in message boards from other counties when the sheriff's needing them for the fair or the arts and crafts, and we put the message boards up in several locations. So it's just shared equipment. And the council meets, decides what projects to fund, what to do with the monies, and then members of the council will oversee the projects to get that work done. Any other questions in regards to that?
I don't have you guys.
So you want to try to
will need
get this
to-
wrapped up, don't you?
You will need to
That wasn't my motion.
appoint,
Do you want either one of you going to do it? Or you want Randy to do it?
I'm okay with Randy.
Huh?
I'm okay with Randy doing it.
I'm good with
We're
Randy.
going to throw you under the bus before you get the job. All right. Go ahead, make that motion.
What was the committee called?
it's the Northeast Homeland Security Regional Council.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Randy to sit on that board in place of Doug.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Then we'll just need a letter to the council, designate Randy as our, member to the council, David. And then I need a 5-minute executive session for legal and 15 minutes for personnel whenever you have
Five
time
legal?
for that. 5 legal, 15 personnel. And that's all I have for you this morning, unless you have anything for me.
Good. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Missy?
Missy Lancaster, Linn County Health Department Administrator. We're kicking off the summer tomorrow with our health promotion activities. We'll be doing, it's World Hypertension Day, so we'll be taking blood pressures. We'll be at the courthouse tomorrow from 9 to 10, or if there's still people wanting their blood pressure taken, we'll stay longer. And then you can walk into the health department anytime tomorrow and we'll take your blood pressure, give you some information. Anybody that has their blood pressure taken will be signed up for a free blood pressure cuff. We're giving away 3. So, and then of course we have all of our other stuff that I talked about in June and July. So still doing COVID shots every Wednesday.
You guys got any questions?
Your refrigerators and stuff, everything's good over there?
Oh yeah, we're doing good.
Is there anything that we need to do over there to your building?
No, well, Mo,
Is there new cleaners coming to your place now?
yeah, she's doing great.
Good.
Should
So
we-
that's what I saw at the courthouse too. We signed the contract for the mowing, did we not? We signed that contract.
I think so, yeah.
And then maybe Jessica or somebody can answer that question here about the mowing when we get her up there.
That's fine. Yeah, nothing else. Still trying to work on organizing that big back room, so
Gotcha.
Thank you, Missy.
thanks.
You got something, Chris? Come on up.
Good morning, Chris Martin, Linn County IT Director. Hadn't been in front of you guys for a few weeks, been pretty busy, so I thought I'd give you some updates on what's going on. Over at the Justice Center, all of the TVs and wireless access points are up and running and installed. And no short thanks to Rick Castle and Zach Daniels. They have been invaluable to our efforts over there. They're doing just a great job. We have installed over 50 cameras so far. We still don't have our original order from last July, so still supply chain related stuff. We have enough to open the building. All the perimeter is covered, all the jail, most of the public hallways. So we're feeling really good about that. And I would like to actually thank the Fair Board because they had 5 cameras down at their facility, which we help with the wireless and their cameras down there that were going to be installed, and they loaned those to us so that we could use those on this building, and then when ours come in, we'll replace theirs. But they were absolutely kind enough to do that for us.
Good.
We took 2 lightning strikes in 6 days. The first one was to the K7 tower, our main tower. We lost all of the tower radios. That's the tower radios for the data, not the radios like the sheriff uses, but it's how the data communicates. We have those back online at this point. Again, supply chain related issues, so we don't have as much redundancy as we usually would until the rest of that equipment comes in, but we are online and working well. Then the following Monday after that, we took a direct hit to this tower by the sheriff's office. That did quite a bit of havoc to a lot of things. We had 7 network switches go out, which was a big issue for us. We had 2 911 consoles that got hit. However, as you know, we did the Mark region and that hall was working, and those guys were wonderful. Although we don't have our new equipment, they brought us replacement machines from their old stock and got us back online immediately. So they weren't required to do that, and they did. I was really, really happy with those guys. We lost 1 radio console, so we have 2 in dispatch. We are currently running a backup because we have a laptop that's a backup console for that second position. So we are not diminished in any way, but we're waiting for delivery of that second console machine. We lost 5 radio interfaces, our generator ECM, which is the computer brain inside of it. Of course, the generator is right beneath the tower. 5 desk phones. We lost 5 computers, which were all covered under warranty by Dell. So that was good. And we lost 3 wireless links to our towers. Again, those are all back online, and we're feeling good there.
We also had, our postage machine had some damage.
Yes, and that was stuff that, didn't quite go through IT, which is, so there's more damage than even what I'm aware of, some of the offices and stuff.
Well, is there something we could have done better?
No.
No grounding or anything?
No,
that we
I
didn't do
made
right,
some
or-
phone calls on that, and
Okay.
you're just not going to survive a direct strike. The lightning hit the tower. They've got evidence of it up there. And with that much voltage coming through, there's a electromagnetic that comes off of that, and there's just nothing we could have done.
Okay.
It's just an unfortunate deal. Within the last 4 weeks, we've been super busy, specifically due to a technical thing. We ended up rebuilding our phone system on the back end. It is fully back online. Has been for a while. We're doing all the custom programming for the departments now. Phones have been ringing the whole time, but some of them like different ringtones, or they want time schedules, they want voicemail to flow a certain way. So we're working all of those details right now, and I feel really good about that. And we've built in some extra redundancy in the way we built it out this time. I could go into long detail as to what happened there. It's really unimportant. But we're doing really, really good now. We've installed redundant routers. So our infrastructure is moving over, as you know, to the Justice Center. Those went well. There was a large issue between our routers and our internet providers that we didn't expect in the beginning when the transition happened. So we were down for a few hours that we didn't expect on that. But once it all came back online, all the firewalls started going and everything went really well. We now have a new intrusion detection system that's part of that router. So that's more security for our side because we get scanned and, you know, I don't want to say attacked. We've never taken a direct line, but we get scanned a lot. As a government entity, our routers are just constantly being scanned for holes and vulnerabilities and things like that. That all leads me to Nick Graham. He's the IT support. He's fantastic. Without Nick, we wouldn't be where we are right now trying to get this stuff back online and working. So I really want to reiterate that Nick is just doing a fantastic job. We're really lucky to have him. So do you have anything for me? Because I have one request, but as far as any questions on what's been going on. So I was talking with the sheriff last week. He's got a patrol car that he is surplusing that I wanted to just speak to you briefly and see if we could take that over as IT. It's a used car. It has 180,000 miles on it. They say it runs very well, has good tires, good brakes. They replaced it with a new vehicle. It's got stickers on it, which we would have to take off, and it's got a little bit of body damage on the front that may or may not need to be repaired. It would just be a replacement of a piece of plastic covering on the front there. I spoke with the deputy that drove it. He said it ran fine. The only issues that he ran into specifically was at higher speeds, which we would never be going 80, 90 miles an hour with the vehicle. It gets reasonable gas mileage. We were driving that station wagon that was over here, and they moved it over to Pleasanton for the airport. So what that did was kind of limited us. Nick's driving his own car at this point to go out and help with the marina or those things. So I would like your consideration that we just take that vehicle over from the sheriff and be able to have that for Nick to do his remote work around the county.
So I'd rather keep it in-house and sell it anyway.
Is that okay?
Do we need a motion on that?
Probably so.
I'll make a motion that we allow.
Is the sheriff good? I'm sorry. Is the sheriff good with it?
Yes, sir. In fact, he's writing a letter for surplus.
Yeah.
And
Just transfer it over.
Exactly. And I don't know what it takes to take stickers off of a car. I did call an auto body down to Lowe's just to see what that piece of trim would cost. Again, the trim is fine. It's just all zip tied up. It kind of looks Frankenstein. If it's not very expensive, I'm sure my budget can take that.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we allow Kevin's surplus deputy car to be transferred over to the IT. Tomorrow.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks for the update.
Mike, you got something?
Mike Nation, Road District 1 foreman. We went to go get the blade for Mound City last week and ended up breaking the pintle hitch, or not the pintle, but the fifth wheel hitch on our trailer. And so we had to turn around and have Harry go back up and get it. And he's got the blade down here finally. And we had our meeting with Jeff Lowell and Dusty Moore up at Windmill Crossing, Ratcliffe Road on the river. It went good. He spoke what he thought we needed to do, and We agreed with some of it, but they were sending, he was gonna have his lawyer write up what they want on conditions and use of dirt, whatnot. But they was gonna send their request to Gary. And I figure we'll go from there, once Gary has a chance to look over it and see what they're requesting. But the meeting went fine.
Good.
Good.
And other than that,
I seen some mowers out today on the way in.
yeah. We've had some out here a week or so ago, but I send them out when we can.
What's the coordination with the noxious weed and you guys mowing? Have you guys talked about what's going
I
on?
haven't yet. The only thing we've really mowed was 2 cemeteries. We haven't got out and started mowing. I was just getting everything to our cemeteries kind of cleaned up. Some of them hadn't been hit for I don't know how long. So, but yeah, we haven't really started mowing. So
I talked to Noxious Weed last week after the meeting, and they were driving around and they were doing spot.
Spot spraying?
Yeah. They said they were getting out of the trees. It's been just really way too windy to try to do anything. And then if it wasn't windy, it was wet. And so he had just told me that he had been doing spot spraying. So
Anything else?
Nope. Nothing major broken down?
What'd you find out about your truck?
haven't heard nothing yet. I need to call them and see how far they've gotten into it, if they've even gotten it in the shop yet. But I haven't heard nothing on it yet. So.
Well, thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Morgan, you got something?
It's always bad.
It's not. Morgan Northcutt, Deputy Clerk, Human Resources. We did interviews last week for seasonal mowers, and so I have a request today for hiring Dennis Hardy, Senior, for the Pleasanton area at 103538, which is a 3D.
you say senior?
We have a Dennis Hardy at the Lacine. This is his dad.
Okay. I mean, I don't have an issue with it. You guys?
I don't know.
I'll make a motion that we hire Dennis Hardy Senior. At what is it? 10.
At 103538.
That's my motion.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, I got a question. You had Byerly was going to, is he already signed up?
Yep.
His pay's already taken care of?
Yep.
His amount?
Yep, he came in, I think around a month ago and did everything we needed him to do, and he'll start after school.
And he's a school teacher at Prairie View. He's been doing it for a number of years for us. So that's good. What about this area? Is there another seasonal mower yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
So I got the electronic sign out by Pleasanton with that Linn County's hiring. So hopefully we can get some applications from that, because I know we had a lot of people stop and ask what we were hiring for when they were setting it up. So hopefully we'll get some more.
Thank you.
That hire you just made is full-time seasonal, right, David?
I believe, yes. Seasonal position, yes.
Come on up.
Good morning, Jessica Hightower, Economic Development. First off, I've got an update here from Sean. The dust control list has been finalized. As far as the comprehensive plan update goes, Jennifer is hoping to have a draft for me by the end of this month. It'll go out to our advisory committee for edits, make sure that, everything looks good to them. We'll go to the Planning and Zoning Commission at their June meeting, make sure they like it, see if they'll approve it, and then it'll come before you guys. So we're on track to hopefully get done by the end of June.
End of June?
Yep.
Okay.
We are increasing the fuel price at the airport to $5.50. I did a little research last week. I was finally able to get the reports from our credit card company that runs that machine out there. So I was able to see, usage and things like that. And I pulled a report from, I think it was airnav.com, that shows all the fuel prices in the area. We were quite a bit lower than anyone near us. So we decided, the airport committee decided to raise it to 550. And I'm gonna start checking that every couple of weeks and make sure we're still in range. The hoop building out there that the car was in. I've got a couple of quotes for replacing the tarp. I was talking to David last week though, and he thinks that it's insured.
I believe we have it on there.
Okay, so how, do we need to report it
So,
before we talk about quotes or?
yeah, we'll need to try to give them what date, if we can, or close as we can, when
Okay.
they came through and damaged it, and
Sean had some pictures he was gonna send me, so I'll get those to you.
get all that to me, I can get it turned in.
Okay,
So we need that before we look at any quotes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they'll handle all that, but probably need to get that done as soon as possible anyway.
Is it torn to shreds or what?
shredded. It was shredded.
Is that what we kept our salt in? Was that
No, we did.
particular?
No, I don't think we
House?
did. We bought them from the state. The state kept their salt in
That's
it.
the one, that's the one we kept the car in.
Oh, the cars in?
Yeah. We bought those. I think we bought 2, maybe 3 of them from the state
Right.
when they surplus.
We bought a couple and there was actually 3 or 4 in there.
Yeah. So they did. Todd and Jake did go look at the other tarps. They're all in the same condition. They're dry rotted and kind of chewed on. So we're recommending to order new one for that building. Do you want to see the quotes now? Do you want to wait till after we get it turned in?
Well, it's not going to hurt for quotes now, I don't think.
Won't hurt
It
it.
won't hurt the insurance. They're
Okay.
going to give you what they're going to give you.
Okay.
Are any of the other buildings damaged from wind? Do you know?
Not that I've heard. No.
We have to
And
take this out for bid or what?
Probably not. It's a fairly specialized thing. You have to get one that fits that.
Did you have more than one bid or just
I
one?
have 2 quotes.
Oh, there you go.
Do you want me to read them? Do you want to look at them? How do you want to do it?
So you just read them.
Okay. The first one is from Clearspan, and it's $3,017.97. This is not the original company that made that tarp. And it is a 12.5 ounce weight for the tarp. The other one is from Big Top Manufacturing. This quote total is $6,575. This is the company that made the original tarp. So they would know how the building goes together. And this one is, where'd it go? 18 ounce weight for the thickness of the tarp. I've talked to Todd and Sean. We would recommend going with the Big Top because it is heavier, so it will last longer. And they made the original tarp, so they would have more knowledge of the
Is
building.
there any warranty on those if I get them?
I did not ask. I can.
We're still going to wait for
Yes.
insurance, right?
Okay. I don't see anything that talks about warranty. I can ask about that.
Okay.
Do you know when we bought those? Or about?
I think Joyce can look it up. I don't remember, and I don't want
It's
to
like 2 years ago.
something like
I
that.
was just looking on our insurance schedule, and we've got several that are listed as like salt storage buildings.
Mhm.
We bought some of those for, but let me find it again here. There were some that we bought in 2019. I'm guessing that would have been.
That sounds right.
And it shows 2 at that time. One at Mound City, one at Pleasanton is how we put them on anyway. And
Okay.
what we did with them, I don't know, and I don't have specific addresses on them, but I'm
Okay.
thinking that Pleasanton one there is probably the one at the airport.
Okay.
So yes, we do have coverage.
Sweet.
Yeah, I don't see any more detail than that on here. It looks like we got it in 19, but it's showing that they're like a 2005
Yes.
model? Okay. So I think I've found the right one anyway that's on here.
Okay, I'll get you those pictures as soon as Sean gets them to me. And then let me know what else you need for that. We already talked about noxious weed a little bit. It was either too wet or too windy to spray. But they've been kind of spot spraying around culverts, whistles, signs, and guardrails. They were on Ungehauer Road, Thomas Road, and East 1000 Road last week. We have had inquiries coming in about the cost share program for this year. Johnny Taylor and Tammy Grimes will be working together to handle that program for those requests that come in. The cost of chemical is going up. So we need to know from you all, what we do now is pay a percentage, and I don't know what the percentage is, and I think it varies by chemical. So, our portion of the cost shares is going to go up with the rest of the chemical. Beechner is supposed to send us a price list this week, so we should have that for you next week. What we're going to ask is whether you want to leave it as a percentage or if you want to have a set price. But we can wait till next week, and so we have those prices if you want to.
See how much they went up.
Yep.
Is it Beecher's the only option?
No, the other companies, the other co-ops in the area do this as well. But Beechner is the one that's going to send us the cost list.
Don't we have some local, when they're a local company? That's
Well,
doing-
there's, I think Mound City Ag does some. There's a couple local, co-ops.
Everybody should get a fair shake at it if it's local.
Well, everybody is involved in the cost share program. Beechner's not the only co-op
Okay,
in the
that's
cost
what
share
I
program.
was asking.
No, they're just the one that are going to send us the price
Okay.
list for the chemical. Everyone else is involved as well. Yes.
But they all have to come to Mound City to get it? Because I talked to Lacey and the Beechners up there, I don't think they do that.
So they send they have a form to fill out with the customer's information on it and what they bought and how much. They send that to Tammy or Johnny, and then we process that and send them back a form that they submit for reimbursement.
How long does that whole process take?
From start to finish, a couple of weeks. It's going to depend on where they fall in the pay cycle for
Okay.
the clerk's office.
Does the store send it in, or does it?
From my understanding, the store sends the form in, we send it back to the store, and the store hands it to the customer.
Yeah.
We had heat waves last week, and with that, we had some issues with some air conditioning units. One at the Centerville Senior Center and another one here at the Annex. They've both been repaired. The one at the Senior Center was able to just be repaired. The one here had to be replaced. The condenser was bad. And that cost was about $5,000. I've got the Linn County Child Care Action Committee that you all allowed me to form. We are having 2 meetings this week, one Tuesday night, one Thursday night. We're calling them listening sessions with our existing providers daycare providers, to see what issues they're having, if any, if we can help fill gaps for them, how we can help support them, and if they would be willing to help recruit new daycare providers. So we're excited about that. We're going to feed them and kind of listen to their stories. And then I've got economic development on Wednesday.
So the mowing, tell us about the mowing. We've signed the contract, and I see that.
Yes.
Starting to go
He's
ahead.
turned in all the paperwork to get him set up as a vendor. He's talked to Rick Castle. We gave him maps of exactly what he's supposed to be mowing. I think he's doing pretty well.
He started because our
Yes.
courthouse is not.
He mowed it the weekend before this.
Really?
Because I saw him
So he's already been there.
that day, so he's been there once.
Yeah. Okay.
Jessica, do you know anything about the pest control contract? I've had a phone call saying that what the existing pest control vendor, he's moving and he's not doing it anymore. Do you know anything about that?
So I don't know about that. I know that it's up at the end of June. Anyway, Johnny Taylor was going to take over for that. And we had asked him, the contract is for, I believe, 3 sprayings between January and June. So I don't really know. I don't know anything about him moving. But it's up at the end of June anyway.
He says he's going to do them. I talked to him about something.
You do what?
I talked to him. I know he's moving, or at least he said he was moving. This is a couple months ago, and he said he would drive down and make sure his contract's fulfilled.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
but and Johnny Taylor's he's all set up for doing it for
I
now.
believe so.
Okay.
Because
It worked out
that was
really
always
well
the
then.
intention. Yeah, that was always the intention when we set that out for bid, was that it was going to end in
And then
June.
Jim had asked some questions about the fire extinguishers.
Yeah, as far as getting to where we check the fire extinguisher.
Okay. Can you remind me about that?
Just
Randy, is that something you and Doug
Doug.
work on?
Doug knows about it. We asked Doug
Yeah,
about it
okay.
once, didn't we, Doug?
Okay.
Yes, here sent me some information. The manual is required already downloaded. One we will have to order for $65 per copy, which is not a big deal. The third one, I believe we can probably get online, because it's code of federal regulations information. There's an online test. I don't remember now right off the top of my head, but I think it's around a couple $100, $200, $250 for a person. I have 2 volunteer firefighters who have agreed to do that and then be available to the county to help. I had not, obviously, since Randy started this morning, we haven't had a chance to visit, but I was gonna see if he is interested in doing the training, as well. That would be 3 people. The only thing I have not found yet is an online training class that they could sit through to kind of help them with it. But everything else we kind of have figured out. We've got people that are willing to do it within the fire service, that would go around and then help us. And then again, if Chief Hegwald, is interested in doing it, that would give us 3 people. So we're moving forward with it. We're working on it. Just waiting on him to get started.
What is our have anyone reached out to Cintas and talked to them? What our contract looks like with them for that?
Talk to 'em.
Because I know that was. I mean, I dealt with them one time in my business, and it was really hard to get out of it.
Are you familiar with that, Randy? As far
You'll also, the individual will be required to be licensed through the state environmental consultant.
okay,
It's just like.
okay. What else, Jessica?
That's my list for today. We've got Peoples just came in. QuickCom will also be here. They're scheduled for 10:30 to talk about their proposals.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys have anything else?
I don't have
For me?
anything, you guys? Thanks, Jessica.
Thank you.
What else is it?
Said Doug was needing some executive session.
Is he the only one?
He needs 5 minutes legal and 15 personnel.
But it's 10 o'clock too.
Do we have any, do we have any, public comment?
Did you have a public comment, ma'am? Okay. No, you're fine.
Anybody? You got
You must
something, Mike? Come ahead.
Mike White, Mound City. I apologize because the topic that I want to talk about was actually on your open part of your past Monday's meeting, but I guess some of it's a bit under the water under the bridge now. But I have a question for Danny and Rick. And why did you guys change your mind?
Well, the reason I changed my mind because there was all the signatures, nobody voiced any opposition that was here. And the whole goal from the start of this, and you've seen, we were talking about the signature page on this, was we started back in January trying to get all 3 school districts to ante up to something. And so with that, we got them all to ante up with about $70,000 a year now. And I mean, that's the reason I changed my mind. There's no, you're not going to get the school districts to pay the entire fund.
Well, they do. It happens in other.
Well, it may,
They're
it may.
being coy with you, Rick, on some of their funding. They
Well,
are.
and I know that. I'm just not going to get in a big battle with them over the issue of money because, to be quite frank, because the way it was implemented, we were never going to get it probably changed anyway. I mean, we could have drug it out for months fighting over the issue, but this was a way to. We got an agreement with 3 school districts, and if they want to try to adjust it later on, they can. And they also have to fight for, and we haven't done this since Paul left, and I say Paul left, but to fight for grants that we miss out on. So they've agreed to help out with trying to work with get some grants because some of those grants can be 100,000 or so. So I don't think we got hurt on the deal at all.
Danny?
When I voted was 2 Mondays ago, it brought a lot of attention to the issue, which we've been working on for a long time. Obviously, it was a different chairman in charge whenever we even started this thing. And when I first got in, I reached out to the school district to talk about it. And, us voting like that brought a lot of attention to it. And it helped me decide, or, it helped me see that that's what the public wanted, that everybody reached out to me wanted it. And I can't go against what the people want that put me here. So I'm just a line leader. I vote for what the majority of this community wants.
Well, I don't believe that the petitions and the people that were here are the majority of the county, because if you broke it down into population, that was actually a pretty small segment of the county that was here. I realize they're vocal, but one of the statements that is constantly made is, well, the commissioners don't care about the kids. But the reality of it is that if you look down the road and affordability of living in this county, I think that the commissioners were looking at the future of the kids and staying in this county. I don't want to drag this out and eat up your whole meeting, but I just want to make one other comment, and then I'll sit down. I want the sheriff to know that I felt humiliated by the way he made his statement to the commission, and I think he owes you guys an apology. I think that was ridiculous, the way he talked to you guys. That's all I got to say.
Thanks.
Y'all go to executive session now?
Let's do it.
Okay. I move that we go to executive session for 20 minutes, 15 for personnel with Doug and 5 minutes for legal.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
There was no action from executive session. Yes. Peoples, are you ready? You'd like to come in?
We lost Danny somewhere. He'll be here.
The bathroom. I guess we can wait on him a little bit.
Well, I thank you guys for the couple of weeks of entertainment. It does fill our day on Wednesdays. We appreciate that.
Well, good, good, good.
I can definitely mark off my bucket list being a commissioner. Okay, so I'm Jennifer with People's Telecommunications in Lacine and Jim McAtee with People's Telecommunications and People Services in Lewisburg. So when we had met a couple weeks ago, it was brought up that you would like us to go back and kind of review our plan and look at what we were doing. A couple of things, we did do that, and I took what you said very seriously, and I went back and I thought, okay, let's really pull the area that we're looking at and see what the people want, kind of like you guys have done with the past, what you guys had. You kind of went out and pulled what the people wanted. So we went out and we went door to door, and then we sent home information in backpacks to all of Parker School District. And out of that, I was kind of surprised of what we got back. We had 21 people respond. So that was much lower than I would have expected. I talked to a few people. A few people had gone with the Elon Musk, that internet, the satellite internet, and they said it's working for them. Those were people that were much more fortunate because they were paying $400 or $500 to get into that service. A couple of the other ones were on CenturyLink, and they weren't experiencing any problems, but they were elderly people, and they said, we just don't use it. So, So I went back through and I looked at talking about a couple of the numbers, and I talked to Blue Mound, and I talked to some people in Centerville, and I'm not sure where all the numbers came on those, because when I messaged the cities on the other proposal that QuickCom did, I didn't come up with, I think they had put in 400 and some or something. And so the only reason I bring that up is because you guys had taken the amount and divided it up, what it would cost per prescriber. And so that really makes a difference, because the number that they submitted and the number that we submitted, I don't feel are correct, because when I pulled those areas to see how many customers could possibly be in those cities, that didn't come up to that amount. So that would skew the numbers on what money would cost per prescriber. Does that make sense? So in saying that, it's not going to change the amount of what it costs to send the main cable to Parker, but I can adjust what the drops and the amount of splicing and the amount of the electronics. So in doing that, I can reduce that bid to $206,000. But in that, I ask, I can put a percentage there of what we want. I guess our point is we have people in the city and we have just as many people in the rural that want it. We're willing to do either of those, but I guess you would have to tell us how much money you're willing to give towards that. We will tell you what we can do with that and go from there. I don't know what your budget looks like of how much you're wanting to put to broadband. But if you give us an amount, we can tell you what we can do for that and how we could work it out from there. But if not that, and you feel that the people want to go the other way, I fully understand. The only thing I would say is, in taking fiber to the home, as far as maintenance and things like that, we are burying our cable, and I don't know if the other quote is for buried cable or buried fiber. So that would be the only difference, is if it's aerial fiber, that's a little bit different. You can do that a lot cheaper than you can buried, but you have a lot more maintenance with it. So
That 206, it covers how many drops, you said?
that was just estimating. That was putting all the main cable in, but that was putting in the 21 that we got that was interested in the service.
How many people are actually in Parker?
So when I went and talked to the city, there was 133 water meters. So I wrote them out here because I called and talked to them down there because I was trying to figure out. In Blue Mound, there's 140 water meters. In Centerville, they said this is a stretch. There's 40 sewer lines, but there's a lot of sewers hooked up that do not have residences in them. So I haven't gone door to door there, and I think in Goodrich there was about 8. And then Parker was 132, not 133, 132. And that was working with the city administrator or the city manager at Blue Mound is where I got that information. And then I had to jump through some hoops to get those other numbers. But that comes up to 320 is what I came up
You
with.
said 40 roughly at Centerville and then.
That was sewers, and they said there's a lot of sewers that are connected that nobody is living at. So
140 at Blue Mound, water meters.
do that. 140, yeah.
And Jennifer, just to clarify, in case somebody hasn't been watching,
Absolutely.
You're only willing to go to Parker.
That is correct. And definitely, I guess that really, we had thought about, could we break out later and go on from there? But I just don't see with the amount of interest. I was just really surprised that was the amount of interest. And I mean, we went door to door and we sent them home in backpacks. So the most that we got were a lot of people in the rural areas. We got a lot of information back from the rural areas, but they weren't in the city.
Right.
So
That's what my question, go ahead.
yeah, and so my thing is we already have a pretty good list of people that want it in the rural, and we're great to take it to them. Even if we don't go to the city, we would still like to go to some of those in the rural, but we would still like some funding to help with that. So even if we're cut totally out of that other deal of, city to city, whatever, but there's still quite a few people in that rural area that want service that aren't too far from where we're at, but it's still going to cost a lot of money for us to continue burying that fiber, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jim. Do you have something you want to say?
I just wondered, wonder how much interest is in the other cities as far as.
And that would be a question. I mean, after you guys said that, and we talked about, and I watched the things on the SRO officers and things, and I thought, I have in my mind what I think, but I want to know on paper. I know what I think, but tell me. And in the letter that I sent out, this is what we're going after. We're going to the county to receive some funding. How many of you would be interested? I mean, I put it on their plate. It's due by this time, whatever. And then when that was the response I got, I was like, wow, I'm going to spend, or the county, we're going to spend a lot of money here. And that's 20 interested. And I'm sure there would be more once you did it, maybe. I don't know. But then you also got to look. Okay, how many of those will be on the disconnect list at some point,
Sure.
So how many would be?
Well, it's just like you said with Starlink, and we got Starlink at $600. We could buy the Starlink for a huge amount of people and give it to them. But not the way the funding's going. I don't think we have that option.
Well, I think with the funding, Jessica, there you are. I think with the funding that it does have to be fiber to the home.
So far, right? Isn't that what you got? Wasn't that the impression you got, or the way she explained it?
That lost revenue category, I think that restriction thing is no longer there.
Gotcha.
So you're thinking like a package deal?
Well, I'm just saying, versus if we cut this in half with the people at $600, that's a lot cheaper than spending $500,000 of our money.
And that's what I told the people. I said, I don't want you to say, oh yeah, we would go with you, and not. I want you to tell me what you have and what we have. And so I just asked them straight out, because one lady's like, I'm perfectly happy with what I got. And I said, well, what do you do? And she says, well, I have my phone, my TV, and my internet. She says, I'm not having any problems with it. She was probably 65, 70. And she said, for the headache for me to change everything, I wouldn't do it. I hope you guys still come here, but I'm happy with where I'm at. And she doesn't use that much. So it was kind of a moot point. And I was like, okay.
There could be issues with trees and stuff for visibility for the Starlink.
Yeah.
I mean, that is an issue.
Yeah. Yeah. So go ahead.
And with that money, the 200,000, that will put the main line throughout Parker, so that if somebody later down the road needs service, all we gotta do is drop to them.
And in
They're
that
ready to go.
and in that time, we will pick up all of those in the rural along our route. We from that tower that we did, we are getting ready to connect. It was almost 10 that we picked up in the rural already on that route, which I know people are like, well, 10 customers doesn't seem that much, but in a rural area of Linn County, 10 people is quite a bit, you know, because everybody owns quite a bit of land. So I'm not swinging either way. Or this is what I can offer you, and this is what we can do, and that's totally your decision on what you would like to.
206 was a 50/50, or is that?
That was just the total amount due, and or the total amount that it would cost to get to them. I could break it down 50/50 or 70/30, but I mean, if you tell me what you can give, I can tell you what I can do with that. And I would have to take that back to my board of directors to say, the county is offering this amount. Are we still interested in anteing up the rest of that?
So I'd like to hear a quick come up, please.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Hey, on your cable, I guess my first question before you even open your mouth is yours buried cable, fiber optic?
All of the backbone is buried, and all of Parker and all of Centerville will be buried. The advantage to Blue Mound is they own their poles. And so the distribution to the homes would be aerial there. And that goes to a huge cost savings, because that's much less cost to put it on the poles. And we always work with cities that own their poles, because they're usually very easy to work with. And
To be clear, Max does not want any more cable buried in Blue Mound.
right.
He specifically asked if we could do aerial because they do not want any more boards underground.
I'm sorry. Did you get a hold of her, Taylor?
They think that the answer is yes for Starlink, because we put it all in lost revenue. They're gonna double check this week and give us a firm answer by next week.
Okay, go ahead.
I was writing some stuff down, just a couple points on the Starlink thing. It sounds like you are proposing to subsidize the installation side of that.
We haven't decided anything.
Yeah, I understand. What I want to point out there is, even with Peoples and QuickCom, we both offer much lower packages, monthly packages. And that is my understanding is not being subsidized. So that is an option. Not to mention we have wireless within the county is much less expensive. So that'd be the only thing I'd put out there to think about when it comes to Starlink. Yeah, you're subsidizing the install, and but not the monthly. And the monthly on Starlink just went up to $110, I believe. So we offer.
That's the basic package?
That's the only package.
Only package. Is that right?
Yep. So, and we offer packages as low as 55. I forget how. 65. So, so if you're talking about what you're bringing into the county, I think both companies offer something better than Starlink. So that was my only quick point there. Just the other quick things to hit is just, I think I said most of this last time I was here, but you're investing in the future here with a north to south backbone on the west side of the county that allows for a lot of expansion and growth out to the farm in the future. And different things like that. On the note of the properties, I just wanted to point out, we're building to every property, whether it's, whether there's a building there or not. So this would be looking to grow, as we go into cities, we want the cities to grow. The whole point here is move to Blue Mound, move to Centerville, move to Parker, build a house. This is one piece of infrastructure that we believe will help that happen. There's lots of other things that has to happen in the county first, but the whole point here is people are wanting to move out of the city, move out to areas like Linn County where, good schools, it's not a bunch of crime all over the place. So, we believe this infrastructure, whether we put it in or Peoples puts it in, is going to attract people to move to these areas. So we're looking to build to every property so that if somebody builds a house in an empty lot, there's fiber there. So I think that's all I wrote down, but I'd open to any questions or just reiterate what I said last time. We're excited that Linn County is looking to invest in broadband. You're in a small crowd of counties that are wanting to do that. So appreciate your forward thinking on that.
Thank you. Dan, do you have anything? You got any follow-up on anything?
We had talked about at one point if there was any way to divide it up, and did you guys look into that? There was no other way to come.
What we had said last week or last time we were here
was all or none.
Once you start making it a smaller project, we want to make sure it's sustainable and we can be here for the next 100 years. And there's enough subscribers to maintain that. So That was, and we have to go right past Parker anyway. So that was where we came back at. Right. Right. So we want to make sure we're fiscally responsible, as I said.
Towns this size, what is the percentage of, as far as people hook up? You know, I mean,
I was very surprised. So Greeley is, I think, a really good example. Same economic type area, similar town, size town, and we're still signing subscribers up. But I think when you talk about fiber optic versus, and I know, Jennifer, you didn't get the reaction you thought, but I feel like whether your CenturyLink is working or not, fiber is the ultimate. It's the end all of broadband. I don't think you're going to see fiber go away anytime soon. And so, and you know, to the people that say Starlink is working, maybe you want to save some money. You know, maybe you don't want to pay $110 a month because our packages are all lower cost for those same speeds as Starlink. So, you know, we are not afraid of the small towns like the Centervilles and the Goodriches because we generally find people respond very well to that. So.
okay.
Well, I didn't know. When he said that, I didn't know how many get big in Goodrich.
Yep.
I don't know.
Well, and that's one more thing I'd put out there is, you know, based on our market research, you know, we can't cover Blue Mound. And when we've been in talking to these communities, just based on comments that we've gotten from the citizens, from the cities, I don't think there's any question there's a need within those cities. There's absolutely a need out in the county too. You know, and obviously we do as much as we can to meet that need with the wireless. We're poising ourselves to get out fiber to the farm at some point once, you know, I haven't looked at the documentation, but the federal 42 billion is getting ready to come down. Some guidelines just came out. I haven't made it through those yet. But, you know, I think in the near future, you're going to start to see that funding come out for fiber to the farm. And so I believe that this project poises.
When do you see that happening in just your mind? Because nobody really knows. But
Well, so soon is relative when you're talking about the federal government, right? 3 to 5 years.
oh, okay.
One more point.
That's soon when you talk about the federal government, though.
That's nationwide, you're saying?
That 42 billion is supposed to be covering areas like rural Linn County. That's what it's for. But
You both go through Parker's, for instance. Somebody wants to hook up. Is there a connection fee for that individual to hook up?
we charge $75
To hook up?
to hook up.
You never waive the
One-time fee. No contract though, so we don't put you under a contract.
What's yours?
We do have a contract, and that's just because we need to recover our costs.
Sure.
So it is a two-year contract.
Uh-huh.
And then as far as if you sign up when we're initially there, we have all the contractors, there's no installation.
Really?
We generally always run a 30-day promotion when we open a new city to waive that if you sign up. So I would expect that we would offer a free install if you sign up within the first 30 days, once the city comes online.
Okay.
You said Greeley though, what percentage wise of the people like going to a town like?
My guess is at this time, we're probably at 40 to 50%, but those installations are still actively happening. We get 2, 3, 4 a week. So I expect when you talk about fiber to the home, you're generally looking at 80 to 90% take rate, just because it is the ultimate delivery method. So.
I think Altoona, it's safe to say, is at
Yep.
that 80%.
Yep.
And that town isn't even completely online yet. That's with current sales and pre-sales for the district that's going to be coming online within the next couple of weeks.
Altoona is very similar to like your Blue Mound, Centerville, Parker in, you know, broadband, as far as broadband is concerned, just very underserved. So it's those communities that you really see that jump. So.
And I'm assuming you guys would put a time, I mean, what timeline, I mean, let's say you give X amount of dollars, what are you looking at for a timeline to get that?
We haven't decided yet. I mean, we'll have to figure out that in a contract.
Yeah.
I think we've got.
You have a certain length of time that you have to get this in.
Don't we have like 2 years?
We have 2 years,
2 years on this,
18 months
Jessica?
left.
Yes, I'm sorry.
2 years to allocate the funding, but it doesn't have to be built till 2026.
Right. So that would be an issue that a concern for us. I think if if we decide to.
Our proposal, we committed to building it out completely within 2 years.
Okay.
Anything else, you guys?
No, I don't.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Yeah.
Do we have like a description of each one of their current proposals?
Yeah.
We do.
Of course, that doesn't have the adjustments that I made on it, but.
Well, I have that email you sent with those.
Can you send that all over to us?
I can, it's in several different formats here, but.
I just scan a copy of mine and send it to you, Danny.
Okay, yeah. I got a lot of stuff wrote down, but.
Can you write your email?
Why don't you send to Jessica?
Jessica. We'll scan and I can attach the email to it and get it sent to you guys.
Great.
And so I guess it's just one more thing. You know, even if whichever way you decide, if there's any left over that we can allocate to the rural, we would use that for the rest of our rural building before you get to the city of Parker. So if that's at all something you'd be interested in.
Want to have any more discussion about right now amongst us right here? What you're leaning towards? I don't think Starlink maybe work out the best for the whole group. Maybe you think so. I mean, just based on the cost, it costs if it's going to cost over $100 just to besides the installation.
And that one customer that was in Parker that I talked to, she was definitely on the high end spectrum of financial stability versus a lot of, you know,
Right.
a lot of them wouldn't be able to come up
Yeah, that's the thing.
with that. Or 110 months.
Yeah, that's what I like about Peoples is you have some different levels, and you guys do too. I just haven't used QuickCom. I know you guys really well because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be living where we were because we have to have the fiber optic cable for what my wife does.
And
It
I
has to
mean,
be
maybe
the
those
speed.
numbers would be different, that I just it was just kind of like, okay, we're putting this effort out, we're fighting to give you something. And, you know, everybody's busy and they probably, it's required.
And I'll tell both of you that my biggest problem with this whole thing is Peoples is you just stop at Park, and then we would be leaving two other major towns, you know, in our county out. And I understand you not wanting to divvy that up. You kind of,
It does make a lot of sense.
well, it works well for you right now in a negotiation.
But if I'm just saying, even if you do go that route, even if there's some funding that you could put towards the rural, that would, I have a list of them that want it,
Okay.
but.
One question, Jennifer, I don't know if you guys know, you may know, Eric, and I just don't. Did Starlink qualify for the ACP or don't the federal subsidies?
I can't answer that.
Okay.
I don't know that.
I was just gonna say that's something to consider because I do know that both of our companies offer that ACP.
I'm just trying to keep up with what I qualified for, so I can keep up with what you qualified for and everybody else. And yeah, if you keep saying this money's coming down, but the amount of money, and he can probably share also, the amount of money it takes to file for these grants is, I was just shocked at the cost that it would take us to file for these grants, because you have to do environmental, you have to do all these things that, you can wrap up a lot of money as a chance to get money or get without money.
And in 2015, when all that federal rural broadband money came down the pipe, how much of that actually went to rural areas? I think we saw that AT&T, Southwestern Bell, and CenturyLink got vacuumed all of that money up, and none of it benefited the rural areas. If you don't mind, can I respond to about the park not wanting to leave park route? To us, it's less about. Here's the deal. I could take the same dollar figure and not build Parker, but I think we're already we probably should have asked for more since we're having to build from Greeley over. What we didn't want to do is we didn't want to come in and seem like we were trying to just get as much money out of the county as possible. So I want to make it clear, that's not why we're doing this as a negotiation tactic. We went to that threshold where we were like, this is doable. You know, if you said you were going to give me the same dollar figure but only build those two towns, I'd probably still go build Parker anyway, just
just because we want those subscribers.
Sure.
And so I just want to make it clear, we're not trying to use this as a negotiation tactic. We just have to be sustainable. You know, we have to be able to go into an area and say, we're going to make this work. And it went below that level for us, I think. So
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure you didn't think we're just trying to get a bunch of money out of the county and you know, make a bunch of extra money. So that's not why we do this.
Right.
So
Good.
we do have to make money.
One of the things I think you'll want to,
Right.
one of the things I think you'll want to think about is a philosophical question.
That'd be for Jim.
And that is, are you committing funding to build infrastructure, or are you committing funding to connect homes? Those are different things. So, you know, putting money into Starlink, is that what it's called? That's a completely different thing than putting money into lines between these cities and so forth. Because let's say, you know, the infrastructure type proposal is permanent. It's there forever. You could spend $600 hooking somebody up to Starlink, and then they move in 6 months, and then the next guy, and then you got to start all over again. You got to do the same thing.
Or Starlink goes bust.
Well, yeah, I don't want to get into that, but they sell it off by Twitter. Anyway, it's those are different kinds of approaches. That's all I'm saying.
So you want to make, like, set a deadline and make a decision in X amount of weeks or what? So
So I'm okay with making a deadline. I mean, what do you guys think?
what do you need?
3 weeks, you want to have something?
That's a decision in 3 weeks.
3 weeks on a Monday, right here. We may reach out to you again, talk to you individually.
Feel free to call myself. I think
Sounds like government just kicking the can, huh? Hey, so you was going to mention voice over IP. We're not in the mail. We're not
Oh, yes.
the phone book.
Why you weren't in the phone book. No, I'm just saying this because I got a call from my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
So he was jumping me about, we published the phone book, but.
So it's your fault?
We have the phone book published, we do that.
You're right.
But if these entities that went to VoIP services, they're no longer with CenturyLink that send us their landline information. So Lacey puts their own in for people, and then we touch to CenturyLink and to Procam, and then they put theirs in. So if you're not with one of those and you're on a VoIP system, those numbers. Now, that being said, you can't publish those in the phone book, but now. So depending on, you know, and I don't know, maybe they haven't had any trouble with their VoIP systems, but that's just like for us, 911, we're not willing to.
Okay. Well, we'll probably look into that, though.
Yeah, anybody can place an ad, call me, I can give them the information on it.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Is Melanie Grote here?
Oh, I'm here.
She'd like to come ahead. We're early, but you're welcome to come on.
There's a few more people that were supposed to come.
You want to wait on them?
It doesn't matter.
Whatever you want to do.
Let me see.
Oh, okay. Hey, we got Harry here. He wants to.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, go.
Okay.
I don't know what Mike told you, but our John Deere blade down at the landfill, they're talking like it's probably gonna have to have an engine in it.
No, he didn't. He left that news to you, Harry.
Well, it's under warranty, so John Deere got to cover it.
Okay.
So, but I got this blade back. He told you that.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna take it down there. But I'm not sure the operator down there can run this one because it's all joystick, no steering wheel, no lever.
Right.
It just, so I'll probably take one of my guys from here and send him down there once in a while, and I can put Rick in it, see what he does, but it's totally different than a John Deere as far as operating it. That's all I.
Can we train the operator or something with the other blade a little bit too? I mean,
Well, yeah, I can send one of my John Deere operators down there a day or two a week and flip him back and forwards because he is mowing right now. So he can keep mowing. We're trying to get all our mowers going. We got 2 out today.
Okay.
That's, John Deere's probably gonna have to put a motor in that, so it's gonna be out.
And that's the one that had the 700 hours from the 7,000 or?
Yeah, I think so. But it's all John Deere warranty. They've been working on it for several months, putting this on it, putting that on it.
So it's going to be a new engine completely?
That's the way they're talking.
And that's the one that was talking about trading in early anyway. Right?
Well, yeah, because the hours are starting to come up.
Right.
Huh.
So,
Get a new engine, we'll have to do that.
Right. Other counties run them 20,000 hours anyway, is what I'm hearing.
Is that right?
well, this one, they're talking like suck some dirt in. I don't know, they put 2 or 3 turbos on it and they just can't get it right.
How would it suck the dirt in unless it was loose fitting somewhere, right?
Yeah, through the turbo or some of the air fittings that somebody didn't get back tightened when they worked on it. But they got to go through a whole bunch of processes for the John Deere engineers has got to do this and that. And so I got two of my other blade guys are picking up part of the area up there and the other one's picking up the other part. So I'm thinking about sending that one down there and hopefully he can run it. I don't know.
I mean, I have been getting a few phone calls about over in that area, so I don't know. And I know that we talked about it was a new grader operator, so I don't know.
No, one guy said he's doing a good job. The next guy totally
Yeah,
didn't.
it's I wish they'd just call and put in work orders. But they don't.
Isn't too much gravel on your road, is it?
Not on mine.
Well, we haul quite a bit down there before they run out. So.
I've been hearing some good things.
Me too.
It's not
Yeah.
all bad.
Did I send you a copy of that?
You sent a copy to us the other day about somebody who was glad.
What's in these ditches?
No, complaining, or,
A compliment.
Yeah, it wasn't about the ditches.
oh, I thought you said.
No.
I misunderstood what you said.
Ditches.
All right, that's all I got.
Thanks, Harry.
Thanks, Harry. Melanie, are you ready now? Okay. State your name and who you're with. please.
Okay. My name is Melanie Grote. I'm a nutrition assistant with K-State Research and Extension. Our office is just a couple blocks over. I go and give nutrition classes at schools, senior centers, libraries within Linn County. And I have been paying attention here recently with the Pleasanton Senior Center and what's going on with it. I would just like to say I've been going there over 4 years. I've seen in the last 4 years the numbers grow of the amount of people that go in every day. It's open 5 days a week, weather permitting or sickness. Our site manager, Nancy Guston, she's going to speak to, she's back here. She has brought in, as I have seen in the last couple of years since she's been there, more and more seniors. You have widowers that go. It's a good place to go and visit. Just getting the seniors out of the house. You know, they play bingo. They do different things. They get to come and congregate and have lunch every day. I didn't know what the updates are. I've heard different things about moving locations. I don't know if you guys can inform me on that. I feel like there is a high need and it needs to be a priority for these seniors to be able to have a place to go. It's very important to a lot of them and it's, you know, very good for their mental health also. I've heard things about the Pleasanton Elementary School or the high school. I don't know which one. I know there was some talk one time about the community building, it being used. Anybody give me any updates?
Wasn't still on that. I haven't really heard an answer back. I know they've been dealing with they got a bike rally thing coming up, so it's pretty important to them. The Pleasanton High School thing, I told when last week, I'm not even in favor of that at all. You guys aren't, are you?
I don't think it'll work.
I don't either. I mean, well, Rick, you can relate or to tell us a little bit, what does it take for
the senior center? I mean, what do they have to have at a?
Just the area on aging has to come over and inspect the area to approve it. And then there's a transfer fee for moving from one building to another if it's done during the middle of the year. It's like $100 is all. So it's not that much. And basically, I think the biggest concern is if we're going to move out of that building because the building is not good, we know that. And Danny's been working on it for a while. And to move into something, we don't want to move into something that we're just going to have to pay a bunch of rent for.
So is that
So-
the situation then with the school or the community building or
Well,
both?
I don't know anything much about the school, but I know that the community building originally was built, when it was being built, the community building, we were going to move in there. That was the thought for a while. And then there was some type of loan that they got where they couldn't use our funding. And it was going to be a horrible deal anyway, because we're going to end up paying like $1,500 a month or $1,600 a month to eat there. So we left it where it was. So it's up to us to figure out where to go or redo that whole building or whatever we were going to do. And I will say that the numbers, you say the numbers are up and they may be in Pleasanton, but the numbers have been down for congregate meals really bad for a long time.
Yeah, I know that Prescott had a site and they no longer, I know Lacine had a site and it's been closed for a while, which now they do once a week on Thursdays. And
The library takes over.
Yeah, she gets like 40 some.
She gets,
Yeah, a lot.
and you know, when we have that going still, the Meals on Wheels program still goes, and they're still delivering up there. I think they're delivering like 15 or 20 meals a day. And then the ones that go there on Thursdays or Wednesdays, whatever day they're having their big library thing, they still do Meals on Wheels, their own version of that as well. So it's a really good program that they're working on and running. And we can only do certain things when we have area on agings involved and to move to another building to let somebody else do that whole program, which we're not willing to do, it would change how the involvement of area on aging, and we'd have to be responsible for X amount of things to happen, which would cost us a lot.
So what would have to be done with the building that they're in now where they could possibly stay in that building?
Demolition.
What? Demolition?
So I don't know. We haven't sent, I don't know if we've even considered it. You've looked at it, right?
I've looked at it. What I've been working on is trying to get them to the community center in Pleasanton. I've been in
Right.
contact with Pleasant. They don't meet very often, and so we got to deal with their city council. And we came up with options and terms, and but the areas that layout that we kind of determined, it's not completely done yet. So, and like I said, I know they're doing their bike ride and stuff like that, so I haven't really been pushing on Teresa much on it. But I mean, I'm in favor of having it right there. It's more of a central location for really where everybody comes from.
Right.
I mean, it's right there. It's what it was built for. It's a community center. It's a nice building. It's right there on Main Street. There's a park. I'm just not in favor of, I own a restoration company and I think that it costs way too much money to try to restore that building and give the people what they need. I feel like that we've been pushing back in the corner and not giving them the attention they need. And that's why I put all the effort into it.
I agree 100%. Yeah.
I mean, there's that building, there's doors that have covers over them during the winter to keep the room cool,
Yeah.
hot. That need to be in. So that's kind of where it's at. Like I said, I haven't pushed on Teresa too hard because I know she has a lot going on personally and, with work and stuff. So I'll reach out to her and kind of see where we're at. But last time I talked to her, they still had to put the HVAC in and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because that building, if I'm correct, it's not used often at all.
No, in the back part of it where they would be two areas. You have the kitchen area and then a seating area. So she had to check on some stuff with him being in the storm shelter and stuff like that, like the kitchen area, and putting in some vents and stuff like that. So there's a lot that has to go into it, but I believe she's working on it.
Okay.
Are there any other options as far as buildings over there that we could use? I mean,
I know at one time, didn't they mention the old health department?
It's gone.
Okay.
Handicap.
The steps. Yeah.
So and I don't know if you know this, Melanie, but when that building was, when Pleasanton was designed, it used to make the meals there.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'd bring the whatever
Yeah.
down and deliver it, and they would cook it. And all the freezers and everything was there. There was all kinds of electrical issues we started having years ago, and followed it. So it's a costly building to
Right.
us too.
Yeah.
So we'd like to see some other location that's more beneficial
Would you
to the
like to
public.
talk?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I started in 1987. I worked with Alan Hester, and when John Reese and Tatum and Lacine started the program. The building, I don't think is in that bad shape. We did have a lot of equipment there. We did cook the meals there. We delivered the meals, and we put out a lot of meals. Now, I think it's a good building. Maybe some of the electricity might not be quite. We don't use a lot of it.
Right.
We have the refrigerator, freezer, and a heating element to keep the food warm. And I don't think if we come over there, I had a person last night volunteer 5 people to come over and paint it. I don't think we've had any paint put on the walls since I worked there in 87. There hasn't been too much upkeep on it. Now, I know the heating and the conditioner get last year was upsetting a lot of people, and we didn't have a lot of air, but you did get it fixed. But, we're senior citizens. We do a lot of things. We play bingo, we play cards. It's a place for us to congregate. A lot of us have to do. We have a lot of men that come that have lost their wives that enjoy coming over there just to, visit. I really feel like we really, if he would just work with us and let us stay there. We have a man who walks to the meals because, he can't drive. He's partially blind. And he has a dog that he walks with.
But the community center is a block within his house, though. That's what I'm trying to do better for you guys. We're not trying to take the program away at all or not give you guys a place. I'm trying to do it better where maybe put a TV up and you guys can watch the news while you eat and things like that.
Well, that would be nice, but I really don't think that's going to happen then. I pray to God it would be nice for us to have a nice place, but the problem is, are you going to have a contract where we could stay 8 hours a day and something else will come in?
Well, yeah, that's why we're trying to get in the back of the community center, not the front.
But what if a tornado comes?
Well, then you guys are in a good spot.
We are in a good spot, but
Good comeback.
they wanted to eat in the tornado. And we pick tables down every night to, in case something happened, we can't be in a place with all those tables and stuff and try to put 300 people in that place. So, this thing that no one ever talks about Buck Run, and I know how much money you put into Buck Run, fixing that basement and that floor. But talks about any other building, but let's do something, get rid of Bud and
Well, I don't feel like we're trying to get rid of it. I'm trying to do better for you and try not to. Like me being a restoration company, I know what that building. I've walked through. You have seen me in there many a times, and I know there's more issues than I would ever want to deal with in there. So
if you think the foundation's bad?
I don't think the foundation's bad enough.
No. You don't think the roof's bad?
I don't know. I'm not a roofing contractor. I didn't look at the roof.
But just close off part of that. Just let us have the kitchen and that's where whatever the dining room and our bathroom. It's close those other rooms off. Heating bill will go down. And I don't know. I just think that it's a better building than everybody thinks it is. At the sturdy old building, the floors don't shake, the windows don't rattle.
Yeah, I go into Centerville Senior Center and Blue Mound, and those buildings are not in the greatest Shapey.
But that's what we got to start somewhere.
Yeah. Well, this Pleasanton would be a great place to start. Have you guys actually went in the senior centers and talked to
Many a times I've ate with.
and sat and had conversations and asked them maybe what they get ideas from them, see maybe what needs that they may have or ideas they may have
Everybody was in favor of it. I didn't know that nobody.
of in favor of moving to the community center? Oh,
There was 2 people that weren't in favor of it. So, but everybody else was in favor of it.
so with how is the air conditioning situation now at the building you guys are in? Do you want to come up here, Nancy?
Okay,
This is Nancy Guston. She's the site manager there.
and I promise you, I'm not gonna talk about the same things that we're all talking about, but I think one of the issues is that I know I've been there less than 3 years, and this subject has been brought up multiple times. I cannot tell you how often this topic is discussed during lunch. I mean, everybody is kind of ill at ease because they don't know, are we going to stay here or are we going to move? And I think that after a year or so ago, they did make the decision not to go to the health center because it just wouldn't work for people that are walking. If the center if they have any vote at all, their vote would be to stay, but fix a few things. And it's like the air conditioning. Last year, they put in a new unit that takes care of the kitchen, that side of the building. So we turn on that little wall. There's a wall unit there. That during the day, and then we shut it off. But when we've been coming in the morning, someone has come in and turned that little unit on. I'm assuming, and I hate that word, but I'm assuming that the idea is that with those 2, it'll push the cool air into the dining room. But and I know that's expensive. And I think everybody that comes in there and everybody in this room understands. A senior center doesn't produce any income. We're just an expense, but it's a needed expense. To me, the biggest thing we need to do is try to maybe do a study and see what it would take to make the senior center a safe place for us to be. And if it's not economically capable of doing that, they're all adults. We'll all talk about it. But we would sure like to see how much it would cost to fix whatever issues they think is there versus going to that community center where they're going to have to build a kitchen. And I mean, I know that's got to be real expensive. And I'm assuming that's not in the budget. So I think that's what we would like to see done maybe sometime this summer. If we could really understand what it would take as far as financially to fix that building, because believe me, the people that are in there, and Danny, when you said that they all wanted to go to the community center, because that was a decision that was made because we thought we had to go either to the community center or the health center. And nobody wanted to go to the health center because of the walking situation. So they all said, no, we'll go to the community center. So right now, everybody that's in there, everybody that comes in every day, they want to stay where they're at. I mean, I know we're all grown-ups, and we also know that to make it safe, and I know that's what you want for us, to make it safe, how much is that going to cost? And if it's not, then we'll accept the alternative and make it a home. If they go to the community center, I do have a question. The room that they showed us, the first one we went over there, is it still just that room?
No, it's the storm shelter area and that room. So kitchen.
Oh, that'd be great.
Kitchen area and over there because it has all the piping for the plumbing and all that.
So.
And then they'd have to put in one vent for like a hood vent or whatever.
And would they have to put in a new kitchen, or would they be allowed to use the kitchen that's up front then just put a few extra things in?
What do you use your kitchen for now? You just use a heating table now, right?
We have a steam table.
Right.
We have a warming machine.
Yeah.
We have our refrigerator. We have our freezer. We have a stove.
Sure.
But we only really use one burner of that stove, and that's on the occasion that we need to warm something up.
Right.
So it's,
So unlike the past, when you were there, you
oh, those big
prepare
ovens?
everything. We
No, the
don't do
big
that
ovens,
anymore.
the big stove is not a necessity.
Right.
I think when you and I talked, there's like 6 or 7 items that we're going to be, you guys wanted to have. And so when I laid that out in the community center, it kind of laid out perfectly. And it includes you guys' dishwasher. I know that was huge.
Oh, yes, the dishwasher.
And
Did you get your new dishwasher yet?
No.
Because the Area on Aging, Leslie Rockers contacted me and said they're buying you a brand new one.
Oh, well, that's great. I mean, we have one that obviously still functions, but it was my understanding from the beginning that nobody, all theirs, once they broke, they didn't replace them. So we baby ours. We make sure that it's still functions.
You should be getting a new one, and I'll contact her again because,
Great.
yeah.
their kitchen there's not very big, and I didn't think it was a good idea to have everybody interacting with each other and trying to put stuff into their fridges and stuff like that with like community things going on.
Okay.
So really, that entire back half of that, it'd be your guys's. It would be, you guys would have a door to lock, both the doors lock on both rooms, or whatever, so.
So is your thinking that it would just cost too much to make, we think of it as our home. Our home would just be, it's too expensive to do the repairs to make it safe? Is that what you're
I
saying?
believe so. I don't want to talk about the issues, but I got pictures of it, and so does our maintenance guy of some of the issues that are a huge concern for me. Some of the repairs that's been done, and I just believe it's beyond.
So you think it would be more expensive to make it safe?
Yeah.
Well, just as long as we all know, and like I said, I don't know how much of a vote we have. The vote would be that we stay there. If there's any way to do that, that's what everybody would like, to stay where they're at because it's their home. It's where they're used to going. That's where our things are that are decorate the walls, we don't mean to be old people doing that. It's just, nobody likes change, right?
You get to be there someday.
There you go. There you go.
But what are some of the issues that you have in the building, Danny?
I'm not a engineer, so I really don't want to say. If that's the case, we can
Talk offline?
get somebody. Yeah, we can get somebody in there. I don't want to get everybody hugely concerned. I'm a masonry guy. The foundation's, it's good actually. I went and looked at it, so I will state that. But everything else is my opinion. I really don't want to state that and let a professional roofer state his opinion. That's kind of where I'm at on that. I don't want to. I'm not trying to scare you guys. It's just I'm not a professional in electrical and roofing and all that. So.
Do you know, is somebody coming, like after we leave or early in the morning and turn the wall unit back on? Is that what's happening?
Not that I know of.
Because we always shut it off because we're trying to conserve electricity.
I know.
Are they?
Rick spends a lot of time to make sure you guys are good over there. So.
And that's, it's great because it's nice and cool when we come in. But obviously we want to save as much as we can too. Is there anything we can talk about?
What we would say is, if there's any way possible, we'd like to stay where we're at. The issue both ways, but if there's any way we can stay where we're at, everybody knows.
So
Here's where I'm at on it, and I haven't been over there in years to your center.
Well, we invite you to come.
I know.
I understand.
But here's where I'm at with it is we picked on Danny because that's his district and that's his area, and I'm throwing him under the bus, but we're letting him run with it, and that's whatever he comes up with, unless it's a really bad idea, then I'm okay with. Because we went through the community center and we even went through the building of it, and that's why the pipes and stuff are there for that extra kitchen that we ended up couldn't do because of the funding issue. And we've looked at over the years the electrical problems, small or big, I don't know, because we ran a lot of refrigerators and freezers there for a while when we were cooking everything. And I know that Area on Aging has some money And I know that they have been contributing to like the dishwasher and the other 6 counties that they serve. They've been doing what they could to help spend that money reasonably. So I would like a new building too, if I could get it. And I think that's what Danny's trying to work to make and you're saying that right now that's not necessarily what you would hope for.
I guess that I won't bother you anymore, but if it's a wash between putting us someplace else versus us staying there with a few updates, our vote is stay where we're at.
Fair
If
enough.
it's a wash, is that okay? Okay. All right, I'm done.
Thank you.
So you want to know, just one time when they moved it to the community center, how long did we stay there? About 3 days. And we moved everything there. We were gonna stay there. The next thing we know, they're saying, no, move back to the center. And we had to move everything back.
But that was
I don't know what happened.
there was something happened with that was the AC, wasn't it? Or the heater?
No, they just came and told us, didn't they? Yeah.
I don't remember why we went up there.
There was some kind of issue because Sean had talked to me about that, and and then you guys had to go in the front of the community center for a few days.
So that was fairly recent,
Yeah,
last year.
there was some kind of issue.
Sounds like to me they want to stay where they're at.
Yeah. Is that what you got out of it?
That's what.
Danny?
And one other,
And I'm just gonna say this, they want to stay where they're at, and they have volunteers that want to paint.
Is it the old people and the young people?
yeah,
No.
No, not at all.
Not at all, I'll tell you, but it appears to me you have people that want to paint and help you fix the building.
I don't know, would,
I had a lady tell me yesterday and last night, she had five people that volunteered to paint the walls and stuff.
in the dining room there?
Is there
Well-
things we could take out of the building? I mean, I'm asking you, Danny, is there things we could take some of the equipment? Do you have a lot of equipment in there that you don't use?
We do, and that needs, that building, and I'm not capable of doing that, that building needs a thorough cleaning. I mean, that back room, all that stuff's,
Well,
Or if there was any way that you could block the other part off and just leave us the big room and the kitchen. And block everything else off where you wouldn't have to use the electricity and stuff for the whole thing.
What do you think, Danny? We're leaving it up to you.
you gonna revisit that idea?
poor Danny.
I'm sorry. Just leave.
I thought I was doing y'all a favor, but I guess I wasn't. So I know since I've been here, we put like 10 grand into AC units. 'Cause there's 4 of them there.
Do we need 4?
No, but do we need? I mean, we can revisit it. I mean, I'm not, it's not my opinion. I mean,
We understand that.
I'm glad you guys came in. I'm glad we get the input.
Might save a lot of electricity with all the new equipment they got with electricity saving all the watts and whatever they call it, you know.
What I'm saying is, can we look at getting some of the equipment out of it that's there that we're not using?
Well, you have
Well, I don't think.
freezers and refrigerators that are stored there, a commercial. And, maybe it's out of date, I don't know, but there is an 8-burner stove in there, and there are big commercial 2 ovens. God, if they could be used somewhere in this county or sold and give yourself some income. I mean, they function, and they haven't been used in years, but they could be serviced, and if you guys have an outlet to sell them to, because all it's doing over there now is just,
The equipment's not, I mean, that's not my issue. It's wire nutted electrical wire that we have to
Yeah.
run that's bare. I was going to say, that's what it is.
So Danny's gonna look into it, is what we're saying.
What kind of time frame are we gonna talk about this?
Danny,
No.
Danny,
What time frame?
give me a time frame, Danny.
I wish I had a different job.
Pardon?
Yeah, we do. It's like his little, he works better with the time frame.
Tell us.
2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
You'll give us an answer in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, whether you want to stay or go.
Well, I mean, it's not what
And how much it'll cost if you stay, right?
Yeah, I'm going to get.
There you go.
That's, I mean, if there's some big, huge difference, or making it safe, we all understand that.
And y'all got Danny's number, right?
Or not, we don't do that.
Here, publish it.
Post it right now.
No, reach out to him and maybe invite him over for real, and then tell him your ideas. He'll be over there.
We do. I could play bingo with him.
So
Hey,
2 weeks.
Wednesday's bingo.
There you go. You just put yourself on the spot.
So we're gonna make a decision in 2 weeks. Okay.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
for coming.
Thank you.
And if I can help out in any way, let me know. I just feel I had to come say something just because I know it's very important to the community and to the seniors and.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much.
We'll see it. What else? You got anything, David?
Just wanted to just give you a little update. I had another person that I didn't talk to him, had called in when I was out one day that was planning on coming at 11:30 today, but it was from Lake Chaparral saying they needed the sheriff's office help with patrol. And I contacted Kevin and said, would you try to get a hold of him? Because that's really going to be your issue, not the commission's. He just sent me a message this morning that he's tried to contact her and didn't get any response back. So I don't know if she's going to come walking in here in a few minutes, but Sheriff and I have been emailing back and forth, and he said, well, please just send her over to me if she does. So just wanted to let you know in case something is said about not having them on the agenda, that's why.
Yeah.
Basically, he needs to talk to her anyway. I mean, it's nothing we
Yeah,
have
and-
control over, so.
Yeah, it's,
Okay.
and I don't know what all the issues are, and say I haven't talked to her in person either. A call came in when I was out, so.
And you put something on the 30th of, do you need May? Do you need something?
Close for Memorial Day.
Well, you could do it now. It's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So typically the week before, we just have a motion to move that meeting to the Tuesday, so.
You have anything else, Gary? Jessica?
Joyce just handed me the cost center task for Public Works that you guys had asked to be.
Okay.
Have those reports. That's for the month of April.
Mail went up.
Sure.
You and your mail.
Oh, there's
Anybody got anything else?
I don't.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You say we got more rain tomorrow?
Chance tomorrow night, yeah. Tomorrow night.